Miss Annie presents Don't Be a Dweezal, starring Betty Corncob and Dweezal McGee. Meet Betty Corncob. Meet Dweezal McGee. Betty calmly walks to the art room and enters quietly. She immediately sits down at her assigned seat and patiently awaits the teacher's instruction. Dweezal runs to the art room and enters noisily. She meanders around the classroom, touching all the materials and fooling around with friends. The teacher then has to ask Dweezal to try again and enter the art room in the appropriate manner. This delays the start of class time and annoys everybody. Betty listens carefully during the teacher's instruction. She keeps her hands to herself and respects her classmates' personal space. If the teacher asks the class a question, Betty raises her hand to speak. If she is not called on, Betty doesn't get upset. She happily allows her classmate to speak without interrupting. If Betty has a question about the instructions, she knows to wait until after the teacher has gone through all the instructions and has opened the discussion to answer students' questions. Because Betty waited until after the teacher stated all the instructions, it ended up that Betty's question was simply answered in the rest of the instructions. Dweezal is disruptive during instruction. She plays around with the materials and tries to distract and fool around with her classmates. Worst of all, Dweezal interrupts the teacher and her fellow classmates who are called on to speak. Dweezal doesn't wait until the end of instructions to blurt out a comment or a question that is unrelated to the project's instructions. Dweezal's actions are not meeting the art class expectations. Her actions are distracting and making it difficult for students to understand the instructions. The teacher has no choice but to give Dweezal her first warning. Betty waits for the teacher to say when to start before getting started. During work time, Betty focuses fully on working on her project to the best of her abilities. Betty knows exactly what to do because she paid attention during instruction and is able to fully follow the directions with confidence and ease. If Betty did forget a step, she knows to look up at the whiteboard for the step-by-step instructions and examples. Betty checks the noise level that the teacher has posted for work time that day. If the arrow points to table talk, Betty knows that she can talk to her classmates at her table in an inside voice, while still fully working on her project. If the arrow points to whisper, Betty knows to lower her voice to a whisper that only the person sitting next to her can hear, while still fully working on her project. If the arrow points to silent, Betty knows not to talk at all. She knows that means that students must need a lot of focus and concentration with this particular project. Dweezal gets started on the project before the teacher has finished instruction and answering questions. Because Dweezal was not paying attention during instructions, she doesn't know how to fully follow the instructions. She becomes frustrated because her project is not turning out as well as if she followed the directions. Dweezal ignores the noise level chart and shouts across the room to try to get the teacher's attention. The teacher is busy helping another student who had raised their hand to be helped. The teacher reminds Dweezal to raise her hand and she will be with her in a moment. Dweezal takes this personally and gets impatient and angry that the teacher is not helping her immediately. Instead of quietly asking her question to a table mate, Dweezal decides to stop working and play around with her chair to try to distract her other classmates. Dweezal's classmates complain that they cannot focus, and the teacher notices Dweezal's disruptive behavior. The teacher has no choice but to give Dweezal her second warning. A second warning means that Dweezal's effort and participation grade for the lesson has been lowered by 50%. While Betty is working, a classmate at her table is struggling with something and asks for Betty's help. If it is a task that does not take away from her classmate's learning, Betty's more than happy to take a moment and help her classmate. But if the classmate asks Betty to do some of the project for them, she kindly declines, but offers advice and supportive words of encouragement. The teacher gives the warning that the class only has 5 more minutes of work time before cleanup. Betty feels pleased with the work she has done because she followed all the instructions, tried to do her best work, and added creative details that made her project unique. She does not feel stressed about the 5-minute warning because she stayed on task and got as much quality work done as possible. She feels confident that she will turn in her completed project on time before the due date because she has fully maximized the class time. In fact, Betty fully finished her project with extra class time to spare. Betty knows just what to do. First, she makes sure to write her name and grade number on the back of her project in pencil so the teacher knows it's hers. Next, she puts her project away in the correct location so it does not get lost. She then cleans up all the materials that she personally used, as well as her personal space, trying not to distract her table mates who are still working. Betty then walks over to the side of the room to where the choice materials are. She quickly selects a step-by-step how to draw a packet from one of the folders. She also takes the materials needed to do the drawing back at her seat. Betty uses the rest of the work time to quietly work on her choice project for the remaining of the work time before cleanup. Meanwhile, Dweezal is scrambling and is sloppily trying to finish her project before cleanup. Dweezal knows she did not use the work time wisely and is very behind on finishing her project. She knows that any project submitted after the due date runs the risk of being graded as 0. The teacher signals the class to stop working in order to listen to the special cleanup instructions. Betty immediately stops working when she hears the teacher's signal. She fully listens to the cleanup instructions and waits for the teacher to signal to start to clean up before doing anything. Dweezal continues to work despite hearing the teacher's signal to stop and misses the full cleanup instructions. She forgets to write her name and grade number on her project and accidentally places it in the wrong location, running the risk of it getting lost or thrown away. After Betty puts the choice materials back where she found them, she walks back to her table to help with her table mates organize the rest of the supplies and clean their table and floor area. Once their table and floor area is fully cleaned up, Betty and her table mates look to see if other tables need their help to clean up before they sit down and wait to be dismissed. Dweezal quickly dumps the materials in a pile in the incorrect containers. She refuses to help her table mates, claiming it's not her mess. Instead, she runs to the door to try to leave the classroom. The teacher notices and reminds Dweezal once again that she is not meeting the art class expectations. Sadly, since this was Dweezal's third warning, the teacher has no choice but to fill out a disciplinary warning slip for Dweezal to give to the office. Betty feels like she's learning so much and her skills in art have gotten better and better. She's very proud of her hard work and effort. Wow! Betty received a very high grade in art because the teacher noticed how respectful, responsible, and hard-working she is in class. Dweezil does not feel very confident in her art skills because she missed so many opportunities to improve her skills in class. Dweezil is now realizing that maybe she should have tried harder to be more organized and attentive during art class and put more effort into working on her projects. Oh no! Dweezil notices that her grade in art is not great. She really wants to improve it, but how can she? Don't worry, Dweezil. There's always an opportunity to improve. What can Dweezil do to get more out of art class? Well, she can try to enter the art room calmly and quietly. Listen to instructions, respect people's personal space, don't interrupt. Raise your hand to speak if you need assistance. Wait until after instructions to ask a question, handle the materials, or get started. Be productive during work time. Keep your voice at the appropriate noise level. Wait patiently and keep working if the teacher is busy and you need help. Offer help to others if they need it. Maximize class time by working on choice projects after you complete the main project. Stop working and listen to cleanup instructions when you hear the signal. Put materials back where they belong. Help your table mates clean the entire table and floor area. Assist other tables with cleanup if there is extra time. Sit down at your seat and wait to be dismissed once your table has been cleaned. And as always, try your best. Dweezil is now going to try her best to fulfill all of the art class expectations. Great job, Dweezil!